So not only that, but many of you who have evacuated from the Carolina coastlines are going to be displaced for a while, particularly where the areas receive the highest amounts of storm surge. So, we need people to get their mindsets right that disasters are very frustrating, and it takes time to get the infrastructure back up and running, but we are going to do everything that we can to push forward as quickly as we can to get things back up and working, along with our state partners in the private sector who owns a large portion of the critical infrastructure that's going to be impacted. So with that, I want to quickly turn it over to our partners over at NOAA, Dr. Neil Jacobs and Steve Goldstein. So take it away.
Okay, good morning. Florence is a Category 2 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 110 miles an hour. It is moving northwest and is presently centered 170 miles east-southeast of Wilmington, North Carolina, and 220 miles east of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Florence is a very large hurricane. Hurricane force winds extend outward 80 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend nearly 200 miles out from the center. Florence is forecast to slow down as it approaches the coast. So even today, as we see outer rain bands from Florence move into the Outer Banks of North Carolina, landfall is not expected for another 36 hours, sometime Friday afternoon, Friday evening, or even early Saturday morning. This slow-moving, very large hurricane will bring a long-term extreme rain, storm surge, and hurricane force wind threat to eastern North Carolina and South Carolina into the weekend. In North Carolina, we're particularly concerned about the Pamlico Sound and the Pamlico and Neuse rivers, where 9 to 12 feet of storm surge are forecast. And the beaches from the Outer Banks to the Wilmington area, 6 to 9 feet of storm surge are forecast over several astronomical high tide cycles. As far as rainfall, we're still forecasting 20 to 30 inches, possibly 40 inches or more, especially in eastern North Carolina and northeastern South Carolina. In addition to all of that, there's also a tornado watch in effect for eastern North Carolina today and tomorrow. The next advisory from the National Hurricane Center will be issued at 11 o'clock Eastern Time.
Thank you. I'd just like to take an opportunity to emphasize the expanse of this storm. So the tropical storm force winds extend out 200 miles and the hurricane force winds extend out 80. This is a tremendously large storm, and when it slows down, what you'll see is this expansive wind field will pile up water along the coast in the form of a storm surge. But in addition to that, there's going to be a tremendous amount of rain. And as the storm slows down, there's going to be lots of coastal flooding, and with that combined with the onshore flow, it's going to be very hard for this water to evacuate. So you're going to see a tremendous amount of inland flooding. I'd also like to thank the NOAA Corps officers for flying several flights into the storm collecting data to improve the forecast skill in the models. In addition to that, I'd also like to thank the Air Force for providing reconnaissance flights as well.
All right. Thanks, Doc.